kilometres. And this time last year, many golf fans barely knew who Tommy Fleetwood was. 12 months on, he's officially the best player on the European Tour. He didn't shoot the round of his life on Sunday at the Tour Championship, but it's how he performed across the season, which has won him the Race to Dubai trophy. Jon Rahm won it, Justin Rose choked, but Fleetwood's tie for 21st was enough to clinch the money and the European crown.
I've said it for a while that the Race to Dubai champion is very, very cool.
Just tell me what 2017 will mean to you. You can never be beaten, can it?
No, it's been a big one. Baby Frankie arriving safely and he's great. I'm going to get married in a couple of weeks. And yeah, I mean, it's been the best year of my life.
Now, Lexi Thompson had a massive case of what they call the yips in golf. She missed that sitter, a 2-footer to win the season-ending LPGA Tour Championship. So that left Thailand's Ariya Jutanugarn to close with back-to-back birdies and win the event. But Thompson still took the $1 million season bonus prize despite that last hole heartbreak. Now, talking of cash, Grigor Dimitrov pocketed $2.5 million as he won the biggest tennis tournament of his career at the ATP Finals in London. Fans witnessed a brilliant three-setter. In the decider, the crucial break came in the 6th game, and Dimitrov sealed the win with his 5th match point. He's the first man to win the ATP Finals on his debut appearance for 19 years.
To be able to actually qualify for this event, to be able to come and play and be successful in the group, and also be secure early of the season to play out here was a great reward for me, but also for my team. I think they really deserve this as well.
Understandably, social media has been buzzing with praise for the Bulgarian. This picture has been shared hundreds of times over, from Grigor's pen to the camera lens. Simple, but 3 words that mean so much. I love you. And it looks like someone else loved Dimitrov. Olympic gold medalist Bethany Mattek-Sands posted this GIF shortly after Dimitrov's win with the words, "Ending the year with a kiss and taking home a trophy." We all love a champion, don't we? You can get all the latest sports news at our website. That's bbc.com/sport. I'm Nick Marshall McCormack, and that is your sport briefing for now.
Now, in Britain, the Queen and Duke of Edinburgh are today marking their 70th wedding anniversary, the longest in the royal family's history. They'll celebrate the occasion privately with family and friends at Windsor Castle. Our royal correspondent Sarah Campbell reports.
In the gloom of post-war Britain, their marriage was, in the words of Winston Churchill, a flash of colour. He was the dashing naval officer, she the future queen. In the 70 years since, theirs has proved to be a relationship which has truly stood the test of time.
It's worked because their personalities and their characters complement one another. They're quite different in many ways, but Prince Philip is the first to make the Queen laugh uproariously, and he's probably the only person who can also tell her to shut up.
Pictured in 1939, 18-year-old Philip first caught Princess Elizabeth's eye on a visit to Dartmouth Naval College. It was the beginning of a friendship which grew into a lifelong partnership. The Queen has referred to him as her strength and stay. The Duke remarked that tolerance is essential to any happy marriage, and the Queen, he added, has that quality in abundance.
70 years after the royal couple exchanged their vows here, the bells of Westminster Abbey will peal for more than 3 hours in their honour.
These images have been released by the palace to mark the couple's milestone anniversary. The Queen and Prince Philip will celebrate at a private party at Windsor Castle this evening. Sarah Campbell, BBC News.
And that's all from the briefing for now. I'm back with the business briefing in just a few minutes. I'll see you then.
Hello, still a few showers, a few downpours around soon through southern parts of India, but nothing particularly excessive in terms of rainfall. As we look at the picture for Monday, watch out though into Sri Lanka as we go through this week, keeping an eye on a weather system which could come close and turn things wetter. We'll keep you updated on that. Here is a picture then tonight and into Tuesday morning. A lot of dry weather around, rather cool overnight across parts of Pakistan into north of India, but with very quiet conditions again. I think air condition is going to be a factor in places. So some showers around across southern parts, down to the east of the Maldives. Heavy downfalls through southern areas of Sri Lanka. See a bit of rain at times in Chennai, but rain totals won't be too much out of that. And then we lift our way northwards into plenty of dry weather to be found here. So again, pleasantly fine, warm days, but then again overnight temperatures could be on the cool side. Patna around 27 Celsius. We look further west, we find a lot of fine, dry weather for Tuesday, but quite big differences in terms of temperature. The cold air into Kazakhstan, as you might imagine at this time of year, in Tashkent, around 18 degrees. That isn't changing too much over the next few days. That cold air isn't going to leak its way too far south. In Delhi, we'll just ease off that temperature a little bit by a couple of degrees. We'll stay fine in Mumbai. A few passing showers in Chennai, but that's pretty much it.
बात खास ना के
Britain is leaving the European Union. Talks are underway, but what will Brexit mean for the rest of the world?
In Asia, companies that have invested in the UK are wondering whether they have to rethink their strategy and move their money and their factories elsewhere.
Who will benefit? Europe's governments are lobbying hard to win their business.
African exporters also sense an opportunity as the UK tours the world looking for new trading partners.
President Trump has already said he will strike a quick deal with Britain, but hasn't said what he wants in return.
India sees more advantage in taking its time. A good agreement on trade, it says, is better than a rush one, but does it risk on missing out?
Brexit will bring change around the world, but here in the UK, the debate goes on. Will leaving the EU prove a smart business move? Business on the BBC. Make the connection.
On Saturday the 21st of October, 104 boats gather in the historic Grand Harbour of Valletta for the start of the Rolex Middle Sea Race. The course circling Sicily is breathtaking, beautiful, yet wildly unpredictable. Conditions change momentarily from dead calm to ferocious winds. Demanding, mesmerising, but for the boats that survive, this Rolex Middle Sea Race was unique.
This team of women in Delhi has been given just a week to find innovative ways to boost female literacy rates in India as part of the BBC's 100 Women Challenge. Can they do it? Find out here on BBC World News.
Hello, you're with Business Briefing. I'm Sally Butler. Here are the headlines. Finding a new home. Two important EU agencies will decide where to move to today as they leave London after Brexit. And imagine sending your child off for an education in gaming in Singapore. The idea is gaining respect and even support from the government. And on the financial markets, the euro is sinking in response to the collapse of coalition talks in Germany. Also, the share markets in Asia are mixed, most of them downbeat. We'll fill you in on all you need to know. Day for Brexit negotiations with the UK Prime Minister Theresa Theresa May's cabinet meeting to discuss an improved divorce bill. No doubt, though, they will talk at length about the developments in Germany overnight and what this means for the Brexit timetable and its impact on negotiations. We'll be hearing the view of one analyst in Brussels shortly, but also we must mention the fate of two major European agencies will be decided on today. The European Medicines Agency and European Banking Authority, currently residing in London, which will no longer be a part of the EU from the end of March 2019. So the 27 member states will vote today on which cities will become their new homes. Joe Lynham has more.
This is Canary Wharf in London's East End. It is home to some of the biggest banks in the world, but also to two very important EU agencies. The European Banking Authority, in the big tower with almost 200 staff, is here. But also here, with almost 900 staff, is the European Medicines Agency. Now, thanks to Brexit, they both are moving out. And today, they will find out where they're moving to. And 24 European cities have been scrambling to host these prestigious agencies. That's because their staff are very well paid, and wherever they go, they bring thousands more jobs, as companies want to be near their regulators, be they banks or pharmaceutical giants. 19 European cities have bid to host the European Medicines Agency, which decides on whether drugs can be sold in the EU. 8 cities have bid to host the European Banking Authority, which monitors the health of the EU's biggest banks. From unlimited access to the zoo, free moving costs and rent paid, many cities have offered major incentives in order to host the two agencies, but politics may trump all that.
The UK will lose 1,100 good jobs of regulators who spend money in the capital, but there's much more to it than that. Having a regulator creates a sort of halo effect, because lots of American and Japanese businesses set up shop in London precisely because they want their staff to be close to the regulator so they can help shape its decisions, get their products under their noses. And so lots of companies have said once the regulator moves, they're going to have to think about maybe sending some staff to follow it.
Irrespective of which European cities win today, this will be the first tangible manifestation of Brexit. It may not be the last. Joe Lynham, BBC News.
So let's refocus now on Germany, where, as we've mentioned, Chancellor Angela Merkel has failed to form a coalition. Talks broke down in the middle of the night Sunday. Well, I spoke to Peter Klepper earlier. He's from the think tank Open Europe, and I asked for his view on the outlook for Germany.
It looks like Germany isn't as solid as it looks like in terms of politics. And of course, the key reason for that is Angela Merkel's decision in 2015 to sort of suspend the Dublin regulations, which has basically unleashed a lot of criticism and really destabilized German politics with the immersion of right-wing populists into the Bundestag. Now, what we basically see is that the centre-right liberal FDP is not willing to form a coalition with the Greens because they have hardened their stance on asylum and refugees, and Merkel is basically not willing to do that. She wants to include the Greens. So for now it's very early days. We'll have to see if the FDP does not return to the negotiating table. I wouldn't be surprised if that somehow happens. But one option could be a minority government between Merkel and the Greens. But then again, we have a problem that Merkel's Bavarian allies, who also want a more right-wing refugee policy, may not be willing to do that. So there's even a possibility that we will see a Mexit, Merkel basically leaving German politics because her person makes it impossible to conclude a coalition.
That's Peter Klepper from Open Europe. Just to say, Megxit is a new one on me, and Merkel exit, is that new to you? Maybe it's not. It's been around for a while, perhaps. I don't know. Anyway, send us your thoughts. Let's look at some of the other stories in business. And Japan's exports went up for the 11th month in a row in October. And it was robust shipments of automobile and electronics parts that did the trick. So Sharanjit Lail, who's in our Asia Business Hub, had more detail for us.
It's also all that brisk global demand that suddenly seems to be coming back and leading to